One of the biggest events to happen over the course of Naruto is the Uchiha clan downfall. Naruto is one massive story and each part of it is important. But there are few more important things that happen in the series than those things that occur in the past. The future is just one continuous game of dominoes and there's always a first domino. And while this is far from the first domino of the series, it's a very important domino, and its effects change the course of the series forever. Itachi kills everyone and causes Sasuke to hate him so badly that he basically becomes the embodiment of the Uchiha's curse of hatred. Without this one moment, what would have happened? What if, say, Itachi was the one that was killed and Shisui escaped with his life? Let's get into that.
Welcome to the Amagi! Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Also, we just released some brand new merch. If you'd like to show your support for the channel even further while at the same time repping stylish clothing, be sure to check that out as well. The store is linked below. YouTube's been unsubscribing users from channels lately, so if you're a fan of us, please do us a favor and double check to see if you're still subscribed. It only takes a second and it helps us a ton here at Amagi. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video.
Itachi and Shisui were unique to the Uchiha. Both were of the very few who were not a slave to the curse of hatred. They were the exceptions to it. While every Uchiha focused only on what they didn't have or what they deserved or didn't deserve, Shisui and Itachi were the ones wondering what was best for the village. What was best for the world, for each individual. Coming to hate war and grow more intelligent very early on, they began to see things that the Uchiha either couldn't or chose not to see. This led to the two of them being the only ones capable of stopping the horrific events about to unfold. Both were full of rage at that planned coup that the Uchiha were plotting. They knew the costs and what would happen if they did nothing. They continuously attempted to convince the Uchiha not to do what they were doing, all while informing Konoha on the side to look for assistance and a peaceful solution. When Konoha's help resulted in talks of genocide, Shisui and Itachi realized that they were on their own. Shisui planned to use Koro Amatsukami to change their minds by subtly placing them all under genjutsu. But when Danzo learned about this, he wasn't too happy. He tries to intercept Shisui to take his Mangekyo from him so he can't cast Koro Amatsukami on him. However, I'm gonna do something a little different here. Originally, Shisui was bitten by one of Yoji Abarame's bugs, which poisoned him and sapped him of strength. However, I feel that if we do remove that one thing, Shisui doesn't lose strength. He would be able to avoid Danzo's attempt to remove his Sharingan. In that case, he would attempt to cast Koro Amatsukami on Danzo and force him to give up the chase. Shisui would escape, and for a while Danzo does give up. That is until Izanagi kicks in, which he surely would have activated before fighting such an opponent. Danzo would suddenly realize that his control over the Uchiha was fading, and that with an ability like that, they could easily take over the Hidden Leaf's government. Due to this, Danzo was about ready to have all of the Uchiha killed. However, Itachi stands in their way, and due to his valiant efforts, he fights off the squad sent to kill Shisui and the elders of the Uchiha, but he falls in the process. Shisui would accomplish casting the jutsu on the Uchiha elders and would dissuade them from going through with their planned coup. It's then that Shisui discovers the body of Itachi. He would lament over his death, weeping openly, even if it is against the Shinobi Handbook's rules. Shisui is filled with guilt, knowing that it was he who had brought Itachi into this, and that if it weren't for Shisui, Itachi would still be alive. At this point though, Shisui blames Danzo for Itachi's death. He would decide to go to the Hokage and tell him everything, and by everything, I mean everything. He tells Hiruzen of the success to end the coup, and tells him how Danzo attempted to stop them, and how he attempted to kill him and steal his Sharingan, and even how he succeeded in killing Itachi and stealing his Sharingan. He would point to Danzo and tell Hiruzen that Danzo has all the evidence they need, and Hiruzen would look to Danzo, who denies the allegations. Shisui tells Hiruzen that all he needs to do is force Danzo to remove the wraps around his arm as proof. Commanding Danzo to do so, it's revealed that Danzo possesses countless Sharingan embedded into his arm. Shisui states that each and every one of those eyes are Uchiha property, and that Danzo has been hunting Uchiha for their eyes. This is something Kakashi can verify, as when he first met Yamato, the boy was under orders to take Kakashi's Sharingan to Danzo. Shisui then states that he is loyal to the Hokage and loyal to Konoha, and that his ability is one that allows him to convince people to change their minds. Perfect for defeating the Uchiha uprising, yet Danzo planned to stop him and remove his Sharingan before he could for selfish reasons. Danzo states that it was only to protect Konoha from the threat of the Koro Amatsukami, which could so easily place the entire village under threat due to the nature of the ability. Shisui would argue that if it was so important to stop the Uchiha and stop the use of Koto Amatsukami on Konoha, why didn't he wait until after the plan that they had cooked up to stop the Uchiha? What it really boils down to is the threat that the entire Uchiha clan pose. The fact that there's such a danger means that he needs them dead. This wasn't about stopping the coup only, this was nipping the threat in the bud. He wanted to take away any viable way to stop the clan in hopes that he could force a massacre specifically to kill them. No Uchiha means no future issues with the clan. Due to everything presented to him, Hiruzen has no choice but to retire Danzo from service. Danzo attempts to cast Genjutsu over Hiruzen to stop this, but Shisui protects Hiruzen with Koto Amatsukami. This results in a fight between Shisui and Danzo, in which Danzo is forced to use Izanagi and further attempts to assassinate Hiruzen in an attempt to blame it on Shisui and the Uchiha, and take control of the village himself. However, this would result in Shisui killing Danzo, which he could do with the benefit of his speed. He isn't called Shisui of the Body Flicker for nothing, and the immense power of his Susanoo. Those two things combined would outlast all of Danzo's extra lives and eventually end with his death. Hiruzen commends Shisui on his work for his clan and makes him a close subordinate. From here, Shisui would probably shadow Sasuke, who has just lost his older brother. Shisui would blame himself, and on those days that Sasuke's alone, Shisui would invite him to play some games. He would attempt to substitute himself for Itachi and become the big brother that Sasuke lost. As time would pass, Sasuke would hope to become a shinobi like Shisui and Itachi, and so Shisui would begin training him, helping him become a powerful shinobi in his own right. Sasuke would also take precedence with Fugaku since he is the only son left. Fugaku would begin to train Sasuke to surpass Itachi in every way. From here, Sasuke would also go to the academy, where he would find himself at the very top of the class. He would have a rivalry with Naruto, and the two would fight every once in a while, but Sasuke was one of the few children who wasn't out to make fun of Naruto, nor was he the one who would actively try to avoid him like the others. Sasuke had a pure heart, not too unlike Itachi's. However, this heart was fragile like many other members of the Uchiha. Madara said it himself. He knew that Obito would be the easiest to turn to the dark side specifically because he loved people too much. As with his speech on causality, he states that hatred is born to protect love, and that is the curse of the Uchiha. Sasuke would eventually be assigned to a team, and that team would be Team 7. Sasuke and Naruto are rather close at this time, though Naruto is slightly jealous of Sasuke. They make a great team though, and due to their teamwork, Kakashi is quick to put them all into his team. Shisui would go on to become a team leader in the Anbu Black Ops and a member of the Uchiha police force, and together they'd begin to research the Akatsuki under Hiruzen's orders. Meanwhile, Sasuke and Team 7 would go about their duties and eventually be assigned to lead Tazuna home from the Leaf in hopes that he'll help finish a bridge that will boost commerce between their two villages. Sasuke is the first to react when the Demon Brothers jump out, hitting them both with enough speed to cause his body to almost appear to flicker out of existence to the naked eye. He deals with both of the Demon Brothers at once, to everyone's surprise. He would help Naruto up and they'd continue on their way. Reaching a certain point in their journey, they're stopped by Zabuza, who manages to capture Kakashi in a water prison. Only through the combined effort of Naruto and Sasuke can he be overcome. He would fake his own death with Haku's help and flee. Once they get to Tazuna's house, they would train just as Kakashi had asked them to, but it's shown that Sasuke has been able to control the chakra on the bottom of his feet for a while now, and so he's the first to finish. Naruto, on the other hand, just fails, over and over again, leading to him trying harder and harder until he eventually gets it. But by that time, he is too tired to go with them to the bridge, and he oversleeps. Upon waking up and realizing that his team is already gone, Naruto books it. There he finds Sasuke fighting with Haku. He had already managed to escape the demonic mirroring ice crystals technique and was now fighting Haku personally. His speed roughly equal to Haku's, if not greater. He is capable of holding Haku off until Kakashi can kill Zabuza. Haku is sorrowful, having lost his only reason to live. He flies into a rage when Zabuza's body is abused by Gato and his men. Haku uses his Kekai Genkai and his incredible speed to rush through and kill each of them, utilizing techniques such as 1,000 flying water needles and his ice spikes. By the end of it though, Haku falls to his knees, having been deprived of all purpose. Naruto knows this boy as the one he met in the forest. He walks over to him and says that he knows what it's like not to have a family of his own, and to have those who hate him because he's different. But he assures Haku that the purpose he found with Zabuza can be found again, and that he could find a true family like he wanted all along. He invites Haku to return with them to Konoha, to which Haku agrees. Meanwhile, in Konoha, many Uchiha are going missing, and the Konoha police force is investigating these disappearances. Shisui is on the case and he begins to investigate, looking for anyone who might be after the Uchiha children who are being taken from their homes by night. Shisui begins to stay up late, protecting his clan, taking the night shift and watching over them. He spends most of his nights just goofing off, doodling in journals, recounting past events in an autobiography, and talking to himself. Most nights are quiet, but on one particular night, a scream startles him. He looks on and witnesses a group of shadows moving quickly across the rooftops out of the village. Shisui would follow them until he reaches what appears to be a bunker. Upon close examination, it's an underground laboratory. He enters and is confronted with a horrible sight. The Uchiha children that had been taken from their homes, floating in vats, their eyes having been removed from their heads. And those are just the lucky ones who survived. Shisui would go deeper where he'd be confronted by the Sound 4. Each one he manages to defeat through his superior speed and abilities. He eventually goes deep enough to find Orochimaru who had claimed an Uchiha's body for his own and was now preparing to do experiments on the newly captured Uchiha girl that was taken from the village. Shisui would force Orochimaru to make room with his Susanoo and would separate him from the girl. Orochimaru would attack Shisui, but Shisui's speed was top-notch and Orochimaru was unable to hit him. Shisui would put Orochimaru on the ground. In a last-ditch effort, Orochimaru would transform into his true self and would spit venom on Shisui, planning to take over his body. However, Shisui would cast Kodoama Tsukami on Orochimaru before he could attack him, giving Shisui enough time to break free and kill Orochimaru. Once this was done, he would comfort the girl and report the incident to Konoha, who would investigate. They would find the children in vats and try to set everything right, returning their eyes and healing any wounds they'd received. It was known to have been a night where quite a few Mangekyo Sharingan were formed. The mental trauma of the events scarred the children, but Shisui knew that if they stayed on the right path, then they would make the world a better place using the power they achieved that night. Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, Kakashi, and Haku return to the village where Hiruzen awaits them. Hiruzen bids Haku welcome and helps set him up to live in the village. From there, Hiruzen begins to tell Kakashi about the upcoming Chunin exams, and Kakashi, along with Kurenai and Asuma, choose to allow their genin to attempt the exams. Kakashi informs his genin of it, and they all rush to sign up in excitement. Before they get there, though, Rock Lee challenges Sasuke to a battle. Rock Lee wishes to learn more about Sasuke of the body flicker, and so they fight. As Lee comes in, though, he's surprised to find that Sasuke can counter everything with his speed. This astounds Rock Lee, who begins opening more and more gates to try to get ahead. To a point, he begins to overtake Sasuke, but before he can finish him off, Might Guy shows up and stops the battle, scolding Lee for using his powers unworthily. Team 7 sorta sneaks away from this silently and goes to sign up. The first exam is one that Sasuke excels at due to his Sharingan. It's a written test, but the underlying objective appears to be cheating, which Sasuke can do easily with his Sharingan. Naruto, however, fares pretty badly, and when the final question is to be asked, Sasuke decides to take it because he knows Naruto won't stop. Due to the gutsiness of accepting the question in the first place, they are allowed to pass. Then comes the Forest of Death. Team 7 is presented with a Heaven Scroll. Their objective is to find an Earth Scroll from one of the other teams and bring it to the center tower, which isn't as hard as it sounds. Remember, Orochimaru is dead at this time, meaning they don't have to worry about him trying to bite Sasuke and attacking them. They also don't have to worry about Team Dosu since Otogakure would no longer really be a threat to Konoha. Also, normally Konoha would split the exhibition matches into two, due to there being too many participants who passed last time. But given that Kabuto and his team wouldn't be here due to Orochimaru being dead, and Team Dosu not being here for the same reasons, that cuts out 6 individuals and therefore shortens the span of the matches. The first battle's between Sasuke and Shino, and Sasuke comes out on top due to his fire nature affinity, superior combat skills, and overall speed. Shikamaru vs Kankuro would be next, and I hedge my bets on Kankuro for various reasons. Reason 1 is that his puppets can play the distance game. He's also got poison and is just overall more experienced and stronger, as the Sand siblings were always stronger than the Konoha Shinobi during the Chunin exams. But that aside, during the Sasuke recovery arc, Kankuro pretty effortlessly defeated Sakon and Ukon, who were considered the strongest of the Sound 4 besides Kimimaro, all while Shikamaru couldn't even deal with Toyuya. I give it to Kankuro. Ino and Sakura turns out the same, Naruto and Kiba turn out the same, Rock Lee and Gaara for sure, Tenten and Temari, it's all the same. So the lineup looks like this: Sasuke versus Kankuro, Naruto versus Temari, and Neji versus Gaara. In a battle between Sasuke and Kankuro, I feel that Sasuke speeds right through him and uses his fire affinity to burn up his puppets. As for Naruto and Temari, I highly doubt that she would lose to him. Remember that this Chunin exams didn't have a month off for training. Naruto never mastered version 1 in any capacity, nor did he learn how to summon. All he really has right now is his Shadow Clone's gimmick, which would get cut to ribbons by Temari and her fan, so Naruto gets smashed. We then reach Neji v Gaara. This all goes in favor of Gaara as he has an absolute defense, a total lack in morality, and a tailed beast, meaning that the moment that Neji gets close enough to Gaara to close his Tenketsu, Gaara just reopens them like Naruto did. And that's only if Neji gets close to Gaara at all. Neji goes down. So we reach the finals of Sasuke versus Gaara. And yes, I know it should be a three-way battle between Sasuke, Gaara, and Temari, but due to family issues and all that jazz, Temari defers to Gaara and drops out, not wanting to have to face her brother and get on the losing end of that fight. So it's Sasuke versus Gaara. Sasuke by this point is strong and fast and is close to Lee's speed in the 8 gates. However, he's not close enough to Lee's speed without his weights to get close enough to Gaara. That, on top of not possessing the Chidori technique, means that Sasuke is beaten quite severely by Gaara for beating Kankuro and making him look bad. This is pretty brutal, and so the match has to be called, and Kakashi steps in before Gaara can kill Sasuke. Sasuke is wounded so badly that he ends up in the ICU, not too dissimilar from Rock Lee. However, unlike Lee, Sasuke actually has a chance to recover and continue his shinobi career. While he's in the hospital, he's visited by Shisui, who would check in on him. He's upset to hear that Sasuke has quite a few broken bones, but regardless, he wipes the anger from his face and goes in to cheer Sasuke up. He brings him food, plays shogi with him, and is sure to bring an extra pair of chopsticks for scratching those places in the cast that you can't reach with your finger. Shisui has come to inform Sasuke that he's going out of Konoha for a while on mission. When Sasuke asks what mission, Shisui tells him that it's a secret one and that he can't give him any of those juicy deets without getting in trouble. Sasuke understands and relents. In actuality, Shisui is being sent to Amagi to investigate the Akatsuki as they begin to mobilize. They had already foiled the group once for trying to get into Konoha during the exams. It wouldn't be long until one of Shisui's contacts informs him that the Akatsuki may be holed up in Amagi. So Shisui is sent to check this out, and along the way he brings his new teammate Haku with him. They leave the village and head for Ame. As they approach the gate, they're stopped and informed that nobody who isn't from Ame can enter without written permission from Ame's leadership. They tell Shisui and Haku to turn around and head the other way. Haku considers just killing the guards and going in, but Shisui has a better idea. He casts Kodoama Tsukami on them to convince them to let the two of them in, saying that they were granted access by the leadership of Ame. This clicks with the guards who let them go. Shisui and Haku enter the village and begin poking around. Immediately from small talk, they begin to realize that Ame is under the control of a man named Pain, and that the former leader, Hanzo of the Salamander, has been killed. This surprises Shisui, who has heard that Hanzo was a legendary shinobi. After witnessing Konin, he knows for certain that the Akatsuki are here and that they're in control. Shisui technically has enough info to return to Konoha with, but he hopes to stay and learn a little bit more about their capabilities. As he sticks around, he and Haku do a little more exploring and investigating, which eventually catches the eye of Pain. Pain would encounter them and fight against them. Haku would take a fatal shot meant for Shisui, and Shisui would manage to fake his own death and escape. Once he got out of Ame, he'd flee back to Konoha and tell them about his expedition. He would inform the Hokage that the leader of the Akatsuki is indeed an Ame, and had taken the village over entirely. He then tells them that the leader of Ame possesses the Rinnegan of legend. This is something that utterly startles Hiruzen. The dojutsu of the Sage of Six Paths? This was something far more dangerous than he had hoped. They begin to plan what to do next. Time passes and Naruto and Sasuke continue to train until word comes that Gaara has been kidnapped. Team 7 would go and attempt a rescue and would manage to save Gaara, though he lost his tailed beast and had to be revived by Chiyo, sacrificing her own life. Seeing this come to pass, Hiruzen calls a summit between the 5 Kage to inform them of the situation regarding the Rinnegan, the tailed beasts, the Akatsuki, and Amagi. They set up a temporary alliance to go in and take out Pain. Going into Ame, the 5 great nations face off against Pain, in which much of Ame is leveled. They worry that they won't be able to defeat him. However, with the combined might of Jiraiya, Shisui, and the Kage, they manage to bring him down, incinerating his body to keep the 5 nations from fighting over his Rinnegan. Secretly though, Shisui managed to steal the Rinnegan and bring it back with him to Konoha. There, it's hidden by the Anbu until such a time as Zetsu informs Tobi of the situation. Tobi would infiltrate the village to take the Rinnegan back, but is caught by Shisui. He attempts to attack Obito, but Obito manages to phase through him. Shisui is unable to actually strike him, but you know, when all else fails, use Kodoama Tsukami. This thing is surefire Takno Jutsu in a can, so he manages to use it on Obito to defeat him. Obito spills the beans on the Eye of the Moon plan, and so before anything else, Shisui would find the Rinnegan and destroy them before they could be used against them. This puts a halt to the Infinite Tsukiyomi. Black Zetsu would attempt to manipulate Sasuke into awakening the Rinnegan, but I can just see Shisui coming down on the black goop like a ton of lead. So I highly doubt that Zetsu would be much of an issue. And so ends my story. Sort of went out of canon there a little, but I wanted to tell an interesting story even if it was a little outside of the normal range. I thought you guys and gals might enjoy it. I hope you did, and if you did, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what you think, and drop any more video ideas you might like to see in the future.
Did you enjoy our video? Well, then be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.